After 10 years working cruise ships, I watched the same 13 mistakes drain thousands of dollars from passengers' wallets, ruin honeymoons, and even get people kicked off ships at foreign ports. And the worst part? Most of these mistakes happen in the first 24 hours you're on board, before you even realize you've made them. Now I know what you might be thinking. You've cruised before. You've read the brochures. You've watched the videos. You think you know what to expect. But here's the thing. I wasn't a passenger trying to figure out the system from the outside. I was the guy on the inside watching the same patterns play out cruise after cruise after cruise. The mistakes that cost passengers real money. The ones that ruined entire vacations. The ones that nobody warns you about because the cruise lines profit when you don't know. My name's Marcus Whitfield. I spent 10 years in the cruise industry. Started as a cabin steward on mainstream lines, worked my way up to headwaiter in the main dining room, and finished my last 3 years as a guest experience supervisor on premium ships. Now that I'm off the ships and don't have a contract telling me to keep quiet, I can finally share what active crew members aren't allowed to say. What I'm about to share aren't conspiracy theories or wild stories. They're patterns. Real mistakes I watched real people make hundreds of times. Mistakes that cost them money, comfort, safety, and in some cases, their entire vacation. If this video helps you avoid even one of these, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe with the notification bell turned on. I've got plenty more cruise stories where this came from. So let's get into it. 13 mistakes you absolutely cannot afford to make on your next cruise. The first mistake happens before the ship even leaves port. People show up to embarkation late, thinking the ship will wait for them. It won't. I watched a family of 4 miss their cruise in Miami because they assumed boarding closed at the last minute listed on their ticket. It doesn't. Most ships stop boarding 90 minutes before departure, and the gangway gets pulled up earlier than passengers expect. If you miss the boat, the cruise line is not responsible for getting you to the next port. That's on you. Flights, hotels, transportation, all out of your pocket. Always arrive at the terminal at least 4 hours before scheduled departure. Better yet, fly in the day before. The passengers who run into trouble are the ones who try to squeeze a same-day flight into their cruise schedule. The second mistake is one I saw constantly at the front desk. Passengers who don't take photos of their cabin the moment they walk in. I'm not talking about Instagram pictures, I'm talking about documentation. Every scratch, every stain, every broken drawer, every burn mark on the carpet. Take video evidence within the first 10 minutes. Why? Because if anything in that cabin looks damaged at checkout, the cruise line can charge your credit card whatever they want, and you have no proof you didn't cause it. I watched a couple get hit with a $400 charge for a cigarette burn that was already on the carpet when they arrived. They had no photos. They paid. Don't be that couple. The third mistake is trusting the muster drill is optional. It's not. International maritime law requires every single passenger to complete the safety drill before the ship can sail. If you skip it, security will track you down using your cruise card. They will hold the ship for you. They will embarrass you in front of thousands of other passengers. And if you refuse outright, they have the authority to remove you from the ship at the next port. I watched it happen to a guy in the Bahamas. He thought he was too important to attend. He spent the rest of his vacation flying home alone at his own expense. Just show up. It takes 15 minutes. The fourth mistake is leaving your phone on cellular roaming when you're at sea. The moment your ship leaves port, your phone connects to the ship's satellite network, which charges international roaming rates that are absolutely brutal. I'm talking $5 to $10 per minute for calls. I watched a businessman come to the front desk in tears because his phone had been syncing emails on the ship's satellite for 3 days. His bill was over $1,200. The fix takes 10 seconds. The moment you board, put your phone in airplane mode and only turn on Wi-Fi when you need it. If you bought the ship's internet package, you can still text and use apps. You just can't use the cellular network. Set this on day 1 and forget about it. If you're getting value out of this, take a second to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. There's still more I want you to know before your next cruise. The fifth mistake is one that breaks my heart every time I think about it. Passengers who book shore excursions through random websites or local vendors at the port instead of through the cruise line. Listen, I get it. The ship's excursions cost more. They feel overpriced. But here's what nobody tells you. If you book through the cruise line and your tour runs late, the ship will wait for you. If you book independently and you're not back at the gangway by departure time, the ship leaves without you. I watched it happen in Cozumel. A family of 6 booked a snorkeling tour from a guy on the beach. Their boat broke down. The ship left at 5 p.m. as scheduled. They had to fly themselves to the next port at their own expense, which was over $3,000 between flights, hotels, and meals. Their vacation was over. The $200 they saved on the excursion cost them 10 times that. The sixth mistake is using the ship's medical center casually. The medical center on a cruise ship is not part of your cruise fare. It's a private clinic that operates independently, and it's expensive. A simple visit for seasickness can cost $150 before they even hand you a pill. A cut that needs stitches can run $800. And here's the kicker. Your regular health insurance probably doesn't cover treatment at sea. Before you cruise, buy travel insurance with medical coverage. It costs maybe $50 to $100 for the entire trip and could save you thousands. I watched a woman get charged $4,200 for treatment of food poisoning. She had no travel insurance. She paid the entire bill on her credit card before leaving the ship. The seventh mistake is one almost everyone makes without realizing it. Passengers who put their valuables in the cabin safe and forget about them. The cabin safes on cruise ships are not high security. They have master codes that can be reset by housekeeping or security in seconds. Cabin attendants don't steal. The vast majority are honest, hardworking people, but the safes themselves are not impenetrable. Worse, the most common reason people lose access is that they forget their own code, and getting it reset takes hours and requires showing your passport. The smart move is to keep one credit card, your passport, and a small amount of cash in the safe, and use a money belt or hidden pouch for the rest. Never put expensive jewelry, electronics you don't need daily, or large sums of cash in there. The eighth mistake will save you from a ruined vacation if you avoid it. Passengers who get aggressively drunk in the first 24 hours. The cruise line will absolutely refuse to serve you. Worse, if you become disorderly, security will lock you in the ship's brig, which is a real holding cell, until the next port, where they will remove you from the ship. You'll be flying home alone, sober, broke, and embarrassed. I watched a 30-year-old guy on his honeymoon get removed in Jamaica because he punched a wall in the buffet on day 2. His new wife continued the cruise alone. They divorced within a year. The cruise lines have zero tolerance for aggressive intoxication. Pace yourself, especially on day 1. We're halfway through, and these next mistakes are the ones that surprise people the most. If you're finding this useful, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. The 9th mistake is treating the buffet like a 24-hour all-you-can-eat free-for-all. Look, I love the buffet. It's part of the cruise experience. But what passengers don't realize is that buffet food on a cruise ship sits in warming trays for hours. The risk of foodborne illness goes up significantly the longer food sits out, and outbreaks of stomach viruses on cruise ships are real and well documented. The smart move is to eat from the buffet during peak hours when food gets refreshed constantly, and to avoid items that look like they've been sitting. Stick to freshly grilled items, foods cooked to order, and anything that comes straight from a hot prep station. Skip the lukewarm pasta that's been there since who knows when. I watched a family of 5 all get violently sick on day 3 from a single buffet meal. They spent the rest of the cruise quarantined in their cabin. The 10th mistake is something I cannot stress enough. Passengers who don't carry a printed copy of their travel documents. Your phone dies, your phone gets stolen, your phone gets dropped in the pool, and suddenly you have no proof of who you are, what cabin you're in, what flight you're catching home, or where your hotel is. Print everything: boarding passes, cabin numbers, emergency contacts, travel insurance information, passport copies. Hotel reservations for any pre- or post-cruise stays. Keep one copy in your luggage and one copy in your cabin safe. The passengers who get stranded at foreign ports are almost always the ones who relied entirely on their phones. Technology fails. Paper doesn't. The 11th mistake is buying duty-free liquor or cigarettes at port and trying to consume them on the ship. You can buy them. You absolutely can. But the cruise line will hold them in storage and return them on the final morning. Some passengers think they can sneak bottles back to their cabin in beach bags or rolled up in towels. Security will find them. They have X-ray scanners at every reboarding point. When they catch you, they confiscate the bottles, charge you a corkage fee, and put a note in your account that flags you for the rest of the cruise. Repeat offenders get warnings, and warnings can lead to removal at the next port. Just buy your duty-free, enjoy it when you get home, and don't risk your vacation for one night of rum. The 12th mistake is not understanding how gratuities actually work. Most cruise lines automatically charge a daily gratuity per person, which gets distributed among the crew. Passengers can technically remove these gratuities at the front desk, and many do, thinking they'll save money. Here's what they don't realize. The crew, the people serving you breakfast, cleaning your cabin, washing your dishes, those gratuities are a major portion of their income. They make less than minimum wage in most cases. When you remove gratuities, the cruise line knows. Service notes get added to your account. Word spreads among crew. Your dining room service mysteriously slows down. Your cabin doesn't get serviced as quickly. I'm not saying this to guilt you. I'm telling you because the smart move is to leave the automatic gratuity in place, then tip extra in cash to the specific people who go above and beyond. That's how you actually get the best service. The passengers who try to game the system end up with the worst experience. We're almost done. Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you've found this helpful so far. The last one might be the most important. The 13th and final mistake is the one I want you to remember more than any other. Passengers who treat the front desk staff and crew with disrespect, contempt, or rudeness. Listen to me carefully. The crew has more power over your vacation than you realize. We see your booking history. We see your loyalty status. We see notes from previous cruises. We see complaints, compliments, and patterns. When you walk up to that desk, and you're polite, patient, and specific, the crew has discretion to do things for you that aren't advertised. Free specialty dining, cabin upgrades, service recovery credits, bottle of champagne sent to your room. But when you're rude, when you scream, when you demand, when you insult, that discretion vanishes instantly. Worse, notes get added to your file that follow you to every future cruise on that line. I watched a man berate one of my colleagues over a dinner reservation mix-up. He cruised that line 30 times. He had elite status. None of it mattered after that night. His account was flagged. His perks were honored, but nothing extra was ever offered to him again. Meanwhile, I had a woman come to my desk on day one, polite as could be, just asking about dinner options. We ended up upgrading her cabin, comping her specialty dining, and sending wine to her room every night. Her file is still flagged for special treatment to this day. The crew wants to help you. We genuinely do. But you have to give us a reason to go to bat for you. Be kind. Be specific. Be patient. Understand that everything is tracked and everything is remembered. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Cruising can be the best vacation you'll ever take. I genuinely believe that. I worked on these ships for a decade because I love what they offer. But the difference between a great cruise and a disaster usually comes down to small decisions made in the first 24 hours. Show up early to embarkation, document your cabin, attend the muster drill, put your phone on airplane mode, book excursions through the cruise line, buy travel insurance, use the safe sparingly, drink responsibly, eat smart at the buffet, print your documents, don't smuggle alcohol, tip properly, and above all, treat the crew with respect. The passengers who had the best cruises during my 10 years weren't the ones who spent the most money. or had the biggest cabins. They were the ones who arrived prepared, asked good questions, treated the crew like human beings, and avoided the obvious mistakes that everyone else kept making cruise after cruise. Now you know what we know. So next time you step onto a ship, you'll be one of the smart ones. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because next time, I'm going to walk you through the 5 things crew members do for free that passengers spend hundreds of dollars trying to get. You don't want to miss it.